Alright, here we go. Morning in Marengo. We start the Austrian breakout, the surprise breakout. Melas here, O'Reilly not here. That was turn 0. Now we have turn 1, Melas. Okay, this is Ott moving out. Now we've drawn Bonaparte. Bonaparte is in clear terrain. He can move a full movement stick. Now Monier's division of Desai's Corps starts over here under Napoleon's command, and I'm always tempted just to run him over this way to protect the right flank. But then later on, when Desai comes on, he's way over here and they're never together. So this time I'm going to bring Desai, or Monnier, this way and put Desai's corps together. Victor's going to deploy Gardain's division to watch the southern enemy action here, but he's going to take Chambal Hark's division and send it north because it looks like the main Austrian effort is coming out to the north. O'Reilly comes out. So he's bringing his artillery out this way to harass the French as they attempt to respond to the main effort coming out of Alexandria. The cavalry. Mott is sending his cavalry over here, get a more central position, and the two possible escape routes for the Austrian army are here and here. So they're going to try to interpose themselves somewhere in the mix. Lannes defends that northern path. That ends turn 1. Again, the cavalry. The first thing I do is I move the commander, the HQ, spread them out a bit like that. Now you notice I don't use the measuring stick slot, and it's because after a while you kind of know. Here's where they started. They didn't move their full movement stick. And what's really important to know is the third of a foot move, which is what I have my divider set at. So I can always see where a third or walk it out 2/3, 3/3. Boney is coming out now, and he's going to set up on this ridge line down there. The Austrian artillery is going to fire up here, the French line. They do a little damage. Now it's Melas. Melas moves first, comes out here, has his forward troops in command. The Austrian grenadiers charge. Hitting strong on Lannes' corps in the French right. Victor heads for the hills, moving a detachment in a stretched out line, and Lannes also falling back to the hilltop. And Victor gives a little ground, no more than what's required. That line up. No combat. Now there's a lot of implied, there's a lot of combat going on here perhaps. Some firing, exchange of shots, but nothing decisive. Turn 3, Victor again. Now when I play solitaire, double blind solitaire like I do, the way I handle fog of war is I simply draw the chits. I don't allow jumping back, altering turn order and stuff, because this is how in the solitaire game I simulate fog of war, because I know where both sides are. But can they get where they want to be in the order they want to get there? That's out of their hands. Now in some scenarios, like the Austerlitz scenarios, the fact that the French have dramatically superior alter turn order rolls, I will on occasion allow them to alter turn order because it's a big part of why they can do what they can do. Nothing hard and fast, I season to taste when it's appropriate. For Marengo, I let the chits be drawn where they may. Victor needs to make sure he's out of touch. Lannes has elected to hold here. He's on good terrain. He's going to hold. Now this is O'Reilly. He's going to move his artillery up. Now one thing with this big map you'll notice, it's turn 3. There's been no combat and the Austrians are still racing, trying to get ahead. It's tough. Even if there's nothing holding them back, it's a race to get to this side of the map board by the end of the game. So the French can fall back. Now Napoleon has brought the Imperial artillery train forward. The guards are back in reserve. And Monier's division of Desai's corps, moved by Napoleon until Desai arrives, has now moved over to the southern flank. Melas troops have charged forward. The Hussars arrive on turn 3. Move up to there and come out of column. Now here we are, turn 4, and there's going to be some combat. Yes, this was a detachment that ends that combat. In the center now, the French are on a ridge. The Grenadiers are driven back, but Haddock's troops step up. And they're destroyed. Lannes' division is amazing. That was just the break the French needed. And now we begin turn 4. I'm going to keep the casualties over here, north of Alexandria. French detachment, an Austrian regular block. And we're back. You may not have realized that we were gone, but we were. Turn 4, and Murat is going to move just a little bit and hold. We have Ott. There's Ott's column racing up the side. Then we have Lannes. And then he's going to move his bags a little out of the way. And using infantry ranged fire, he's going to fire at the Austrians there. He's having an intense fire, basically 3 hits being done on the Grenadiers. Now both Grenadier units are spent. This does not bode well. Now Melas activates. Move up here to have all these guys in command range. These are all cavalry coming out. Grenadiers turn in charge. Now the Austrian artillery opens up. First from way over here, they open up, driving that detachment back. Move Linné over here. And this artillery opens up. This guy. The Imperial artillery gets pushed back. And the last artillery opens up on Schembel-Hark's spent division and drives them back. Then it's Victor's corps. He turns around, recovers his ground, sends a detachment back there, spreads his line out a little further here. Now it's O'Reilly. No, they're not going to fire, they're going to move up closer. Next turn they can hit anyone. Move up closer, but they stay out of infantry fire range. And not only infantry fire, but also some divisional artillery, battalion guns. There's a lot of things that can fire at the shorter range, not the full artillery range. And that's all simulated by what happens if you get too close and don't actually go on to a full attack. For here we have Ott, Napoleon himself. What's he going to do? He'll bring up his baggage train. He can't really resupply the artillery, but they line him back up. And that is it. Move to the combat. Charging uphill in the slope defense. Hitting Linné's corps. They drive them back, but the Grenadiers are eliminated. That was costly. Same thing over here. 2 and 2, or 1 because he's uphill, but 2 on the spent Grenadiers. They absorb 1, and 1 forces them to retreat. They retreat into the cavalry, and it rout. Still battling. Still without result. This time, Watrin's demi-brigade, Linné's corps gets pushed back. So they've lost the hill. Turn 5. And finally, Desai appears. The Emperor. The guard takes this slope right here. They're gonna hold. Murat's cavalry attempts to contain the Austrian cavalry. They move their bags back. O'Reilly. O'Reilly charges. The artillery fires up the hill. To no effect. Victor, what you gonna do? It's your Vector. Victor sends his bags back, gets in a flank attack. Finally, Ott's light troops make contact. Desai. Desai comes on and he's needed all the way across the battlefield. Here he is. Stretch out in column. Monier's division switches into column and moves up to join them. Desai rides ahead. And finally, Melas. His artillery opens up again on the Imperial artillery, driving it back. Hoping for a good outcome, the Austrian artillery mounts the hill to help next turn. Bags start trundling up the road, and we've got some combat. Turn 5. The light troops. Victor's troops fall back voluntarily after the first round. They do no damage, but suffer 2, so they fall back. Here, it's not going to be good, is it? The Austrians get nothing, French get only 2, which allows Schellenberg to fall back. Schembel-Hark. Now, Kaim's block crossed a slope to get there, so they have a disadvantage. They suffer 3, do 1, so they're eliminated. That's not good. Schembel-Hark falls back. Alright, here we've got flanks by the Austrians, and Harsh dies. French have lost 1 block, the Austrians have lost 3. Now we've got Imperial Guard can continue at a disadvantage or fall back. Let's continue 1 round at a disadvantage, see how it goes. They suffer 3, which forces them back, which is what would have happened if they just decided to voluntarily retreat. The Austrians do know, and so they inflict nothing on the Austrians. This last shot here, it's doing 1. Alright, turn 6. This is where it gets interesting because the lines start falling apart. The French could really use some unpacked bags, but they're still falling back. See if Desai can stabilize the situation. Murat is first, and he simply holds the line because this is the line they want to break through to. Linné has 1 unit left. Form a line there, move their bags back. Now we have Ott continuing the push. Now it's Napoleon. Well, he's going to move back form his line. His artillery is going to fall way back, and they hold. Victor falls back, turns, just detachments. They're refusing this flank. Desai. All the way to the western main road. Desai stands in the center and does a little traffic management, waving them around. Riley drives in the center. Cavalry, the artillery, and their escort top the first rise. There's another rise here. And Melas last. Now this is pub battles. Pub battles, if you're on the attack, moving last is great. Then you get to decide where the fight's going to be. Alright, turn 6, let's do a little combat here. No, they don't have a slope bonus. 1-1 and they voluntarily retreat. Nothing to gain, they're just delaying. In the center here, the other half of Linné's corps disappeared. Dragoons screening cuirassiers. Never good. Cuirassiers are spent, but the dragoons are lost. Now I separate them because all that counts for breaking an army is the infantry blocks. You have 3 Austrian and 2 French infantry blocks. This is a detachment, and this here is cavalry. Here we are at turn 7. We're going to have 2 more turns, and this is going to be a double loss. The Austrians have to break out. That doesn't look like they're going to be able to, but you never know. And the French have to break the Austrian army, and I don't know that they're going to be close enough for that. Let's see if we get the Austrians break if they have 6 infantry lost. They have 3, and the French break if they have 5 infantry lost, and they have 2. So they both sides need to inflict 3 damage to win this. And this is where, if you're playing a 2-player game and you were the Austrians, you wouldn't want to move first because French can just move back and that just gives them time. Well, at the same time, you don't want to get broke, so we're going to form a line here. The artillery is going to top the rise, and Vogelsang is going to contact. Desai. Desai comes out of column. Just like that, and just like that. He has secured the exits. Victor going to continue to refuse the flank. Moves his bags back. Murat's cavalry. Now there's a cavalry advantage. But Melas, and all this is Melas. Melas has not moved yet. If this were a 2-player game and I was using the alter turn order, this is where Murat would want to wait and move last so he could attack. But in double blind solo, Vagbor is the Chitra and he does not have that option. So instead he falls back. Because he fell back, the cuirassiers can't recover. Of course now, Melas moves. Cuirassiers are charged and flanked. Chambal Hark and the guards are charged and flanked. The artillery opens up on Chambal Hark's division, pushing them back. Bonaparte, outflanked. He's no fool, he's pulling back. Linné is no more. That's it? Oh no, one more. Alright, turn 7, we've got cavalry combat here. Kellerman does 1. Bing. Kellerman suffers 3. 1 for his... He's eliminated. It's looking tough, but this is the last turn. Turn 8. Linné is totally gone. Bonaparte, we're going to turn him to face the enemy, pushing his bags back, bringing the guns in front. They have not yet recovered. It's the last turn. He unpacks his bags, recovers his guard. Bags actually unpacked there. Continues his drive. The Austrian cav moves first and captures the road, but they don't have a straight shot down the road because you've got Desai there with the unit, so Kaiser's going to move to push that. What am I doing? Oh, Mail's just okay. Forgot to do a combat. They do 1, 2, up. Now they attack, they spin, attack. Artillery fires, misses. So artillery can just barely make it. Drives Hussars back. Artillery moves there. Here, Victor simply moves back. Chambal outflanks the Austrians. Murat. These Hussars rally. Dragoons shoot back to here. So far that they can get, right? But they really can't get. Linné isn't around. And Desai. Desai gets out of that and attacks that. Desai turns, attacks that. Oh, when these are Linné's bags, Linné could have moved his bags back out of the way, and he would have. So here goes. Dragoons attack from behind, by our infantry. Ordinarily, they can simply move away. But this infantry is now within 1/3 range of the Austrian supply line. They need them away from that. Desai, I believe, has saved the day for the French on this account. Yes, the dragoons cannot hold. Now over here, same sort of thing, except this time the cavalry is facing them. Each do one. Now, Desai is in trouble in this case because he is spent. Spent infantry can't form square. Austrians roll a 1. They roll a 2. Forces the Austrians off the board. Basically, the entire Austrian cavalry wing has been destroyed. French combat here in the center. They did 3. The grenadiers again retire, and the battle ends. We have 4 Austrians eliminated, 4 Austrian infantry eliminated. Not enough. The Austrian army was not broken. French have 2 divisions eliminated. 2 blocks is not enough. The French army is not broken. Neither army is broken, but the Austrians have failed to break out. Desai's corps prevented them from breaking out. So, although neither side got a victory, the Austrian army is still sitting there. But they're unable to break out, they have no supplies, it's not good. And they lost many more points worth of troops. So I'm going to call this a French minor victory. Napoleon will have a much harder time racing back to Paris and claiming that he won a major victory.